Most rappers send their vocal stems in a really messy and confusing way that just completely wastes the engineer's time and ruins the mix. Let me show you how to send your stems the right way, labeled, clean, and mix ready. Alrighty, this is gonna be a super quick and simple video. So I've got my home recording template here set up, ready to go. I've got my beat, my sound effects, my main vocals recorded, my backing vocals, and also my ad-libs. Now my recording template, it does have some effects in here. It's got a little bit of compression, some auto-tune if you want to use that, some reverb and delay as well. Now, when you actually send off your vocals to get mixed, you want to make sure you get rid of all of your effects, because if you have the effects turned on, when you export the stems are going to have the effects on them. And as an engineer, it's hard to, well, you can't get rid of the effects. Once they're on there, they're baked into the export. And at the end of the day, the engineer is just going to add all the effects anyway. If you really want to, you can export the session how it is with the effects that you've got, and then you can use that as a reference to send to the engineer along with the completely dry stems that have no effects on them. So if I just play this quickly, you can hear that there's some effects on.
With this what? We in the 40, I keep with a score in my baby. One boots got bands in a flip. Double down.
Especially these ad-libs, they've got, you know, like a radio effect going on.
What?
Now this is all on the template, ready to go. It's kind of just drag and drop. If you are interested in sussing out this template, I'll have a link in the description. It's a really great way to sort of have everything organized and also just have a little bit of effects on while you're recording, because I personally think that if you're recording with a bit of effects on, it just keeps the creative juices flowing and sort of gives you more of an idea of how the track's going to sound. When you record your vocals completely dry, it's very easy to listen back and kind of just hate the way that it sounds, or you think that you're doing something wrong. But really, if you listen to a lot of raw vocals, even like big rapper raw vocals, it sounds very average because there's not any effects going on, and it just doesn't sound anything like how a complete mix would sound with all the effects and stuff like that. So anyway, let's say you got everything recorded, you've got some effects on from when you're recording. Basically, you just want to turn all of these off. So you come into your mixer channel here. I like to reset all of these faders. So just Alt and left click, reset all the faders. And then this button down here on each of the tracks, this will turn on or off the effects in each channel. So just come across here, make sure you got all of these off. And when it's white, all the effects are off. So if I listen to these ad-libs now,
What?
they're completely dry. Now, personally, I think the best way to export everything is just solo each channel and then export it that way. To solo each track, you want to come to the little light here and just right click, and then you can see it solos the track. So let's go back to the start, just go File, Export. You want to make sure you do everything in WAV file. So hit that. Let's say you want to make a folder, bang. This track's called Double Down, so we'll go Double Down Stems, open that. Now this was the beat, so we'll go Double Down Beat. And to save the engineer some time, the BPM is 120. So we'll mark the BPM there for them, 120. Now you can just copy these settings that I've got here, hit start, bang, super quick. Now on to the next track, the sound effects. If you haven't added any sound effects, you can just skip this obviously, but bang, we got some sound effects in there. Go back to File, Export, WAV file, Desktop, Double Down Stems. We can just call this sound effects, export, main vocal, export, double down. We'll call this main vocal 1. Next one, we'll do this main vocal 2, just to keep things super organized. You don't want to just export it with the untitled or recording 145671. It's just fucking confusing as hell for the engineer. So you just want to make sure you label it nice and simple. Main vocal 2. Now another thing too, when you're recording, I like to sort of just alternate the tracks up and down, and then that way it can all stay on 2 separate tracks. Otherwise, you know, you don't want to have things, you know, one down here, because then you're going to have to export a bunch of different tracks. So try and keep everything on 2 channels if you can. Obviously, if you've got more layers or whatever, that's fine, but you just want to keep it nice and organized here. So come down to the backings, solo that, export WAV file, call this backing vocals. And then lastly, come down to ad-libs, export WAV file, ad-libs. And that's really it. You just want to make sure everything's labeled to what exactly each track is. So, you know, your main vocals, backings, ad-libs. If you've got more layers, you know, you've got another layer of backing vocals, just solo that, backing vocals 2. So I'll just quickly open up an empty session and just show you how everything's going to look when you drag it in. So we've got a completely empty session here. Let's just drag all of this in. Boom. Usually the beat's up at the top there, so we can drag that up here. And now everything's nice and labeled, super simple. We got the BPM here, 120. So if I bring it up to here, 120, boom, everything's nice and labeled. So, you know, if they want to rearrange some stuff, they can see main vocals there, backing vocals, ad-libs, and sound effects. And seriously, this is going to save the engineer so much time. Your mixes are going to come back nice and clean because there's not stuff everywhere. I know that a lot of people, sometimes they export stems and they'll have like the reverb channel and they'll export like the delays channel and stuff. You don't need to do that because it's just going to double up. And again, the engineer is going to add all of the effects. So make sure you're not sending stuff with effects on there. So I hope this helped with understanding how to export your vocals a little bit easier, nice and clean, super straightforward. And honestly, the engineer is going to love you if you're sending your vocals just like this, nice and simple. If you're struggling to get studio quality vocals from your bedroom, check this video out. There's heaps of tips in there showing you how to get solid vocals straight from your bedroom, and your mixes are going to come back so much cleaner from the engineer.